Have you ever wondered about the first man to ever walk the earth according to the Bible? His name was Adam. The story of Adam's creation is one of divine artistry and intention. As we delve into the pages of Genesis, we find in chapter 2, verse 7, a vivid account of God crafting Adam from the dust of the ground. It's a humbling thought, isn't it, that the same dust we tread upon was used to create the first human being. But the creation of Adam was more than just God playing in the dirt. When God breathed into Adam's nostrils, he gave him something no other creature had, the breath of life directly from his mouth. This breath was not just air, it was the very essence of God's own life force. But there's more to Adam's creation story. In Genesis 1, verses 26 and 27, we learn that Adam was created in the image of God. Think about that for a moment. The first man bore the likeness of the Creator himself. This divine image was not a physical resemblance, but a spiritual one, conferring upon Adam characteristics such as reason, morality, creativity, and the capacity for relationships. And then, God placed Adam in the Garden of Eden, a lush and bountiful paradise. Here, Adam was not just a passive observer, but an active participant in God's creation. He was given dominion over every creature, a stewardship role that required responsibility, care, and respect for all living things. Adam's life in the garden was not one of idle luxury, but of purpose. He was tasked with tending the garden and naming the animals, a job that demonstrated God's trust in Adam's capabilities. This divine trust highlights the inherent worth and dignity of every human being. Thus, Adam, the first man, was created, not as an afterthought, but with intention and purpose. His story is not just a tale of beginnings, but a testament to God's love for humanity, a love that continues to shape our lives today. Adam was not alone in the garden. God created a companion for him, Eve, and together they experienced the first act of disobedience. Our story continues in the lush paradise of the Garden of Eden. Here, a cunning serpent slithered its way into this peaceful haven, setting its sights on Eve. The serpent, with its silver tongue, tempted Eve with the forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge. Eve, deceived by the serpent's persuasive words, took a bite of the fruit, forever altering the course of human history. But let's not overlook Adam's role in this pivotal moment. Adam, who had been given the clear command from God not to eat from the tree of knowledge, was present during this temptation. He watched as Eve took a bite of the fruit, and what did he do? He followed suit, willingly taking the fruit from Eve and eating it. This shared act of disobedience, this mutual fall from grace, was not a mere tasting of forbidden fruit. It was, in essence, a deliberate defiance of God's command, a choice to pursue their own desires over the divine instruction they had received. The repercussions of this act were immediate and severe. No longer could they reside in the paradise of Eden. They were expelled, forced to leave the comfort and abundance of the garden. They had to confront a harsher world, one filled with hardship, labor, and pain. But why highlight Adam's role in this event? Why not focus solely on the serpent or Eve? Well, it's because Adam, as the first man, carried a certain responsibility. His actions, his choices, they didn't just affect him, they echoed throughout time, impacting all of humanity. Adam's decision to eat the forbidden fruit marked a crucial turning point in human history. It was a moment that demonstrated the profound consequences of disobedience and the far-reaching impact of our choices. A lesson as relevant today in 2024 as it was in the dawn of creation. Despite their mistakes, Adam and Eve went on to start the first human family. They had 3 sons we know of: Cain, Abel, and Seth, each with their own stories to tell. Cain, the firstborn, was a tiller of the ground, while his brother Abel was a shepherd. Their story takes a tragic turn when Cain, out of jealousy, commits the first act of murder, killing his brother Abel. This narrative in Genesis 4 verse 8 is a stark reminder of the consequences of unchecked anger and envy. But even in this sorrowful tale, there's a glimmer of hope. After Abel's death, Adam and Eve have another son, Seth. Now, Seth's line is particularly significant in the grand scheme of the biblical narrative. He is the ancestor of Noah, the man who would survive the great flood and ensure the survival of humanity. But the lineage doesn't stop there. If we follow the genealogy further, we find an even more crucial connection. In Luke 3, verse 38, we find that Seth's line leads all the way to Jesus Christ. That's right, Jesus, the Messiah, the Redeemer of humanity, is a direct descendant of Adam and Eve through Seth. Think about it, Adam, the first man who fell into sin. is also the forefather of Jesus Christ, the one who would come to save humanity from that very sin. It's a beautiful illustration of God's redemptive plan woven intricately through generations. Bear in mind the significance of these genealogies. They are not just lists of names, but carriers of promise, testaments of God's faithfulness. They remind us that even in the face of sin and its destructive consequences, God's plan for redemption remains unshaken. So, while it's true that Adam is known as the one who introduced sin into the world, it's equally important to remember that from his line came Jesus Christ, the Savior of the world. Adam's legacy, therefore, is not just of sin but also of redemption. Adam's life, like all lives, had an end. But what does his death signify? In the book of Genesis, it's written that Adam lived to be 930 years old. This, in itself, was a testament to a different era, a time when the world was young and humanity was just beginning. But it was more than just the end of Adam's physical existence. It marked the end of an epoch, a turning point in the grand narrative of humanity. The death of Adam was the closure of the first chapter of human history. It was the end of an era where humanity lived in direct communion with God, in the idyllic setting of the Garden of Eden. It was a time before the ravages of sin had fully taken hold, a time that would never come again until the redemption of mankind. Death, as we understand it today, is a consequence of sin. This is a fundamental truth echoed throughout the Bible and most explicitly stated in the book of Romans, chapter 6, verse 23, "For the wages of sin is death." The death of Adam, then, was a poignant reminder of the fall of man, of the original sin that led humanity away from God's intended path. Yet even in death, Adam's story doesn't end in despair. It ends with a promise of redemption, a hope for a better future. The sin that started with Adam was not to be the end of humanity's story. Instead, it set the stage for the ultimate redemption through Jesus Christ, a redemption that makes it possible for us to overcome sin and death. In the grand narrative of the Bible, the end of Adam's life was not just the end of an era, it was a turning point, a transition from the age of innocence to the age of redemption. It was a reminder of the consequence of sin, but also of the promise of redemption. Adam's life and death serve as a profound reminder of the human condition, susceptible to sin, but also capable of redemption. In the year 2024, what does the story of Adam, the first man, mean to us? The story of Adam, the first human, remains relevant today, even as we navigate the complexities of the modern world. Not only does it remind us of our origins, but it also provides a profound commentary on the human condition, touching on themes that resonate with each of us. Adam's story is a powerful reminder of humans' inherent worth. Adam was created in the image of God, a declaration of our own intrinsic value. Regardless of our achievements or failures, our worth is not determined by the societal scales of success or the fleeting standards of beauty. We are invaluable because we are made in God's image, an echo reverberating through the centuries from Adam to us today. Adam's narrative also illuminates our potential for sin. The moment of Adam's disobedience in Eden is a stark reminder of our human tendency to stray from the path of righteousness. This propensity to err, to succumb to temptation, is a struggle we all share, as relevant today as it was in the dawn of humanity. Yet, Adam's story is not all doom and gloom. It underscores the human need for companionship. Adam was not meant to be alone, and neither are we. In an age of digital connections and virtual interactions, the story of Adam reminds us of the importance of genuine human relationships, of love and fellowship, of community and connection. Above all, Adam's story is a beacon of hope for redemption. Despite his transgression, God's grace extended towards Adam, a promise of redemption that echoes through the ages. It's a promise that continues to offer hope to a world in need, a world not so different from the one Adam knew. Adam's story, then, is not just ancient history, but a narrative deeply intertwined with every human story, including ours today.